All praises to Yahawah, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakar double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how the word of Yahawah, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai ruffles feathers, right? And if you're not sure of what that term means, it ultimately means something along the lines of shakes people up, makes them realize who they are, make people feel insecure, right? It changes the hierarchy of the world, right? And that's what happens in this world, man. And it's not just about, well, it is ultimately about the word, but it's about how the word of the Lord makes us present ourselves, man. Because you people, some of you people in the world, you actually think that you're intimidating to us, right? But then when we put it on you people, you realize actually you're not who you thought you was in life, right? And I remember one story that one of the elders over here in the UK was speaking of before, where he must have been in a chip shop or something like that, right? He was in a chip shop, and then one guy must have just been staring at him and must have like framed himself and set himself up to stand next to him, like right at a 90-degree angle, right next to his shoulder, right? So then he ended up saying to the guy, okay, if you want to do something to me, then do it. To which the guy responded and tried to be like how guys are in this world. And like men in this world have become real flimsy wimps, in my opinion, man. And I ain't trying to talk like I'm no tough guy, but men in this society have become very passive aggressive faggots, like what women do, and try and gaslight. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You're a faggot. You're a little wimp, mate. Grow a pair of balls, yeah, and stand on what you was trying to do. Like even one of the elders over in the US, man. There was a time where one dread-headed fake ass Christian was trying to come over and pretend like he was about the word of the Lord and was like, oh, let's have a debate and all of this, right? And was trying to pretend, but then at the same time was trying to pretend like he believed in the word. But then he's asking for a debate, and then he starts trying to go back and forth and starts trying to rally up scoffers. But why didn't he just come up in the first place and say, I don't believe what you believe, fuck y'all, and I'm about to cut you with the scriptures and what based on the doctrine I believe? Why didn't he come and do that? Why did he have to come with a snake way? Now, back to what the elder over here in the UK did that time, from the story how I remember it, right? After the guy was standing at his 90-degree angle and he said to him, if you want to try and hurt me or do something to me, then just do it then. And he was playing around like he didn't know what he was talking about and trying to make it like, nah, I wasn't trying to do anything to intimidate you. Just order your food, man, order it. And then the elder said it got intense in that shop for a minute, right? And I can only imagine, because people in this world, they think that we're supposed to be scared of them. We're not scared of you people. We're not scared of you, man. Right? We just believe in Yahawah. So we ain't prepared to crash out for the new people. But that don't mean that we ain't going to defend ourselves neither. Right? Verbally, or any other way. Right? And we'll also use the law that you people trust in and call them on you. Right? We'll call the police on you as well, man. I'll call the police on one of you people quick if I think that it's gonna set you up, man. The same way how you're trying to do it to me, I'll play the games that you play as well, man. And if people out there, if Jake in the hood life, street thugging, want to try and say I'm a snitch, I don't care. Yeah. The apostles said if these Christians roll up on people, call the cops. So what, man? That's what they're there for, right? And then these waste men are trying to talk all this mess, talking about, oh, we've got him intimidated and all this. Listen, man, what should we do then? Take you back and put the hooks in with the feet and give you a rear naked choke? Would you rather that? And they would rather that we'd be like that. These people in this world, they think that they can intimidate. They think that they're scary. They think that they'll try and test you out in all these kind of ways, man. If we go gym, they want to try and watch what we're doing. Like I remember even a story that the elder Apostle Gabar was telling before, man, where he said he was on a walk or on a run or on his bike, and that he was pedaling his bike, and then some guy said, oh, wow, you're going real fast here, and then like tried to say some other words in a way where like, oh, it's a competition. And then the Apostle Gabar turned to him and said, Listen, man, if it was something along the lines of if it was a competition, like you wouldn't win anyway. So don't even try and make it be a competition. And then I also remember one of the things that one of the elders again over in the UK said to one of these scoffers before, where the guy the guy said to him like, do you think you're better than me? And then he said the elder said to him, yeah, I do. And then he said, that was funny. This is funny to me. So that the scoffer said to the elder, he said, "Oh, do you think you're better than me?" And the elder said, "Yeah, I do think I'm better than you." And then the Edomite said to him, I mean, "How do you think you're better than me?" And he said, "We ain't got all day." Meaning, meaning that the amount of ways that I'm better than you is such a long list. I ain't got time to be here pointing out every single point. And the thing is, he weren't lying neither, because you Edomites are little runts compared to us in our true form, man. You ain't even better than us now. You Edomites feel intimidated by us now. You Edomites can literally be a millionaire or have hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank, and you'll see us and you'll get all weird. Make me in our kingdom. When I see one of you Edomites, I ain't gonna think nothing. I'm not gonna think nothing. I'm not gonna feel insecure about seeing one of you Edomites in our kingdom. If you Edomites were really better than us, when you see us, you should feel better about yourself. But you feel worse though. So then you have to be passive aggressive and do all these stupid little things to try and make yourself feel better. Oh yeah, we're really the leaders. No, you know we're the ones that's supposed to rule, man. It's in our spirit. That's why we're the ones that say we was kings, and you Edomites are worried about Great Britain. What you're worried about making Britain great again, making America great again. And it's never gonna be anyway. Now, let me get this, man. I've ran my mouth long enough. Let me get this. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. Because the word of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai ruffles feathers, man. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Right? It's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, man. A lot of people in this world, they trust in all these little different things in this world. They might go gym and they trust in going to the gym, and they think that they're lifting some weights and they're heavy and that. Mate, that ain't it. Like even amongst being a tough guy in general in the world, among trying to be a tough guy, right? Trying to be a tough guy, thinking you're a bad man when it comes to hand combat. Weights is an accessory. It's an aid to actually being a tough guy. That doesn't make you tough in itself, because Eddie Hall and Forber Johnson, they've did all kind of, they're among weight training. Them two are like the top 0.5% of people to ever do that kind of training, really, if we're talking about as far as going, being strong and lifting weights goes. But on their YouTube channels, I've seen it. When they come up against UFC fighters, karate fighters, different kind of martial artists and all of that, right? They realize that they're not as tough as they thought they were. And that these fighters that don't do nowhere near as much weight training as they do could beat them up and seriously hurt them, man. Forber Johnson had a like a little wrestling match thing with a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter, and he was getting dashed all over the place, and that guy weighed probably about 150 pounds less than him, maybe 100 to 150 pounds less than him, which is a huge weight difference. 100 pounds pretty much covers the difference between every single weight division in boxing or MMA. Like, let's say that featherweight is like 120 pounds. 100 pounds heavier than that puts you into the heavyweight division. So that would be like a featherweight fighting against a heavyweight in terms of weight difference anyway. Now, obviously, this guy that I'm talking about that did it, I think his name's Gordon Ryan. He's about 200, 220 pounds. And then the other guy's like 300 plus pounds or whatever. So it kind of changes things when the guy himself is bigger. But the point still stands, man. He had a huge weight advantage and couldn't do anything. So even you guys that you think you're tough and you want to trust in weights and all of that, that doesn't show that you're smart. Just like how degrees, people think that they're smart because they got a degree. You know how many people have got a degree in this world? And some of you scoffers out there, you talk smack about the Hebrew Israelites, you don't even know whether we've got degrees or not, man. We might have a degree. Does that mean that we're somebody now in your eyes because we've got a degree? I remember the quote that Apostle Gabar made where he said that a guy, well, he often quotes this guy, Theodore Roosevelt, I believe, where he said that a thorough knowledge of the Bible is greater than a college education. And that's what I mean. Some of you people, you run your mouth and you think you're slick and all that, and you don't know. You're not on the level that you think you are in life, man. And that's why the word of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushai ruffles feathers. Now, I'll keep diving back into videos that I've seen and memories that I've cemented in my mind from the history of the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. Because now I remembering the time where Apostle Tahar, and I'm sure Apostle Gabar was there. I'm not sure whether Apostle Rakar and Apostle Arayamla was there. But how I remember the video, definitely Apostle Tahar and Apostle Gabar were there. And it was outside an art museum or a museum or something like that. And the video was called like the Renaissance, the Apostles verse, the Renaissance man or something like that. And some proud Edomite heard the Apostles mention the Renaissance and he tried to chuckle to himself. So then it was like, okay, you think you know something and instead come over then? Then he came over and was talking all this la-di-da, thinking he was slick and thinking he knew something in life. Then they started asking him, okay, what does the Renaissance mean? Started asking him some couple more questions, right? And then they said, okay, and when did this start? When did they start doing this rebirth? They did it to change. They did I think they mentioned iconoclasm. And then the guy ran down the street, man, because he didn't want to point out that the whole history of what he's been putting himself into was ultimately about erasing the dark-skinned images that so-called black people had up of different points in history, proving that they were the people that lived in these times. And that's another thing that proves that the word of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushai ruffles feathers, because you Edomites, in order to make yourself feel good, you have to try and drag somebody else down, man. Like, you're even doing it now. You Edomites think you're so smart. Okay, let the Chinese vehicles be sold in America then. Huh? You're so smart, right? You're so smart and you're better than everyone. Okay, let the Chinese vehicles be sold in America and let's see how many people buy your vehicle. Don't put no Ross Clark tariff on it. Just let it be a fair trading and see who's going to win. But are you going to do that? No, because you're not as smart as you think you are. You don't have a better product. You're not even a better people when it comes to this technology, man. And you've had a greater head start than the Chinese, and you're still not better than them. And you've had an even greater head start than the Negro, Latino, and Native American. So imagine how much better of a vehicle we'd make than what you make and than what they make, man. When we're making vehicles, imagine the technology that we're going to have in our kingdom. Just the chariots that Yahawah Shai has are going to show that you nations are so inferior to us. And you can feel it, man. As a Jake, we go in the gym, and it might be a gym that's got mainly Edomites in there. They're sour. They start watching you like you couldn't believe. Like, they're starting watching you like it's get out scene, man. Like it's that get out scene where they all went up on, like he went up the stairs and then they all stopped drinking their wine and all that and start watching him and stalking what he's doing, man. That's how you Edomites are. You weak and insecure little punks, man. And Israelites got a better job than you. Now you're claiming it's DEI, as if he didn't have to go through the same fucking qualifications route as you. Oh, he's DEI, like they just put a fucking, the twister board. Like just put their finger on a twister board and then span it. But instead of it having left foot red, right hand green, it had a color chart of all the different brown skinned people and then had male or female on there. And they just span it. And then whichever it lands on, it landed on a mocha colored black person, right? A mocha shaded male. Okay, so we're gonna have to give a mocha shaded male a job, and then we just go out on the street and give him a job. No, he had to go through a whole thing that he had to do. He had to go through a whole route, complete a whole training process, pass a probationary period and all of that to get that job. But you devils want to try and make it like he just got the job because he's black, or like she just got the job because she's black, because you're demons, man. And the word of Yahawah is ruffling your feathers because you're starting to realize you're not what you thought you was in life, man. Vocab Malone, he thought he was smart and thought he was better than so-called black people and used the Bible to do it. He used the Bible to make himself feel like he's better than black people. And now he's realized that the book that he thought that made him prove that he's smarter than black people is actually the book that proves that he's not better than the people that he thinks he's better than. And he's lost his mind ever since. As no matter how much that guy tries to laugh and joke about the Hebrew Israelite movement, he's been one of the main people that have helped it grow. He's among the scoffers or among the people that would have never heard about this. He's been the main person that's made them hear about it. The guys literally came to London in a quiet street or whatever street it was and started telling random Edomite women or what these guys believe, mate. Thanks for spreading the doctrine, man. Thanks for spreading the doctrine. The guy is so dumb. He's laughed about whether he's about that the having to have a beard, but then now he's got a beard though. He used to say, so you're trying to say that I'm going to get destroyed just because I don't have a beard. But you've got a beard on your face now, though. So how come you haven't ever shaved it off? Since he's had that beard, how come he hasn't ever got rid of it? Why not? Why has he never got rid of the beard that he's got on his face? Why has he never went back to that goatee thing that he used to have or whatever? Or went back to the clean shaven? Why has he never did it once just to prove that, okay, I've got this beard now, but I don't believe that you need to have it. How comes he ain't ever cut it off again then? Because he's desperate to want to be a Hebrew Israelite, man. He wishes he was one of us. Even the way how he reads the Bible, when he was reading it for God logic, this is Isaiah 5 and 5. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Relax yourself, man. The same ISUPK that he used to mock, or the same RUIC that he used to mock, or the same Great Millstone that he tried to mock. He's trying to read the Bible like a member of One West, the dickhead. Man, some joker, you know. This is Isaiah. This is John 3:16. For God so loved the world. Shut up, bruv. Waste, man. What are you on about, bruv? Relax yourself, man. Because he would never. You see the way I was reading that book, that scripture then, in that time in that video I'm talking about. He would never read the scriptures like that in one of these Christian churches. They'd look at him like he's lost his mind. If he went into one of them Christian churches where they're playing that Christmas music, and they got the Christmas tree in there, right? And they got the sausage rolls in the back for when they have their little banquet afterwards, right? He would never read the scriptures like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn to our pages. Let's turn to John 3 and chapter 16. For God so loved the world. He would never do that in his life. So why are you trying to do it around us? Be who you really are in life, man. Don't try and be us, bruv. Be yourself, bruv. And that's the thing. That's the thing with these people. The thing that we believe is making it difficult for them to be themselves, because we're pointing out that who they are in themselves is a wicked demon. We ruffle these people's feathers even when we don't talk to them, and they're stalking up our life, man. We're just minding our business throughout our day. They're worried about what we're doing, worried about what clothes we got on. And it sounds paranoid to think like this, but these people are our enemy. They definitely do this. It might sound paranoid. It don't matter. Didn't the apostles say beware? Haven't the apostles literally said beware of agents? Haven't they said that? So being paranoid is not necessarily a bad thing. Don't bug out. But being paranoid and wondering what these people are on is like, nah, that's a right spirit to be in, man. Your neighbor, what they on, man? Why they if they all of a sudden want to start being nice to you? Why? Why are you trying to be nice all of a sudden for, man? What do you want from me? What are you trying to get, man? What are you trying to be in life? You gotta watch these people, man. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12 again. For the word of Yahawah is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when we bring out these scriptures, man, we find out exactly who you people are, man. And just by us believing in the word of the Lord, we can, like, you people in this world are not as hard to read as you think you are, right? You proud women, you're not as hard to read as you think you are. You proud men, you're not as hard to read as you think you are. You passive-aggressive devils, you're not as hard to read as you think you are. You Pookie and Ray Rays, you Shaniqua and Shay Shays, right? None of y'all are hard to read as you think you are. You rich people that trust in money because you're insecure about everything else in your life. You ain't as hard to read as you think you are, man. You people are not as deep as you think you are in this world, man. Not even close. And the word of Yahawah makes us be able to see through you people. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12 again, for the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. If you say you love us and all of this, yeah, but then we bring out Revelation 13 and verse 9, verse 10, any man that have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. That scripture all of a sudden quickly proves that the love that you claimed you had for us did not exist. That was not no love that you had. You were lying. You're a liar. Yeah, why are you lying for? Just be who you are, man. Be who you. It's time for you Edomites to forget about claiming that you're a Christian country. Just admit you worship the devil, man. Just admit it, bro. Admit you worship the devil. Unless the devil's weaker than God. But you claim that you don't believe that, right? You devil worshippers claim you don't believe that the devil's weaker than God. So how comes the God believers, how comes the Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai believers, right, can openly admit that they believe in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai? But you devil worshippers are always cowards about what you believe in, though, innit? You always have to pretend like you didn't sell your soul to the devil. But we ain't scared to say that we want to give our soul unto Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I'll say it right now. I want to give my soul to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I hope that my soul belongs to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. How many of you devil worshipping demon Edomites out there are prepared to say on voice or camera on whatever way that you want your soul to be given unto Satan, which is what you do? But how many of you are prepared to say that? How many of you Israelites that have sold out to the devil? How many of you are bold to try and say what it is, man? Like even Cat Williams was pointing out and said, you know what, the first thing that somebody that sold their soul has to try and do, to make it like it never happened. But if selling your soul is a good thing, why are you going to make it like it never happened then? Surely you'd want people to know that you did that, right? Right? If it's a good thing, right? Surely it wouldn't matter that you did that then, eh? Surely it wouldn't matter. You little runt people out there, you tramps, man. Let's carry on, man. Like when that judgment of the Lord comes for you people, man, it's really gonna be a beauty. I might cry, man. I might really have tears running down my eyes in that day when I see that you people get jacked up, man. And in fact, you know what? Let me go to this scripture because the scripture say that Yahweh Shai is gonna wipe the tears away from our eyes, doesn't it? Doesn't it say he's gonna wipe the tears? Yeah. This is Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4. And God shall wipe away the tears from all their eyes, and there shall be no more death. So there's gonna be some crying up in here, man. All kind of happiness tears that we're gonna shed, that you people finally got judgment. When that day comes, I hope to be alive, man. That's one of the main things making me want to even stay around on this earth, that I get to see Yahawah Shai crack the clouds and America in flames, man. I want to see America as a lake of fire. Take that as you will. And when it happens, I'm gonna be crying happiness, man. I'm gonna be so happy, shedding tears and happy that that place has been destroyed, man. And anywhere else that Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai sees fit, ran by you Edomites to destroy that as well. Because the society that you've made is not the kingdom of heaven. It's one of the places that's going to have to be destroyed so that the kingdom of heaven can be made on the earth. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven lift up a kingdom that shall not be inherited by other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. That's the kingdoms that's on the earth right now that he's talking about. You people playing games, man. You people are playing games, and you try and borrow us in our day. Like I even remember one other thing that Israelite, one of the elders said, man, and he said that even if one of you people say something to a little Israelite child, you just nothing but a nigger, something along those lines, you might think, oh, that's nothing. I didn't hurt him. You shouldn't have opened your mouth and said anything to him. That's what you people don't understand. Some of you, like, you people don't even understand this. To a certain degree, you Edomites shouldn't even look at us, man. You don't even understand that. You shouldn't even be looking at us in our direction, man. You shouldn't even look at us with a happy face or a sad one. But you definitely shouldn't be looking at us with no hatred in your eyes. Everyone wants to try and bring out some Dalshan out a boy Edomite. You Edomites shouldn't look at an Israelite to a certain degree, man. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to look at it, read it right now. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Now, you think this don't still stand now? Because some of you people will see us having a bad day in our life and you'll look and try and think, that's funny. Now, this particular thing, it happened to me. But let's say an Israelite's walking down the street, right? And they might not have a car and it's raining. And the Edomite sees that it's an Israelite and decides to try and splash them with their car. Now, this particular thing has happened to me before, one at a time when I was a teenager. I'm walking on the street, right? And it had just rained heavy the day before. And I'm going to school. I think I was going to school, man. Right? And there was a big ass puddle. A big, huge puddle, man, that I would just know I would have got drenched had this have happened. There was a big, huge, massive puddle in the ground, man. Right? And one Edomite was driving his car and I seen in his eye, man, like, this devil's gonna try and splash me. And this devil had that, when these devils pierce their eyes and like lick their lips. And he literally changed lanes. If this was a one-way, like a two-way street, so one lane for going up the road, another lane coming down the road. Do you know this devil literally was on the side to be going up and then changed lanes, right? Changed lanes to try and splash me, right? And almost crashed into another car and died. He almost crashed into another car and almost ended up killing himself because he was so desperate to try and splash me with his car. Like, he literally almost killed himself trying to splash me with a puddle when I'm a teenager walking to school, man. And you know what? Even back then, had he have ended up flying through the windscreen, I wouldn't have cared, man. Even back then. Because going back to the history of when Babylon the Great got that particular event with them towers thing, when I was a little kid at that time when that happened, I remember when I seen it on the news, jumping up out of my seat and saying, that's what you get for putting our people in slavery. Now, where the hell's that come from? For a little child to be saying something like that. I would have been a child at the time when that happened, man. But where does that come from? It comes from the spirit within us that makes us know that Babylon deserves to be judged. I wasn't sad when it happened. I was actually happy. But where did that come from? For a little child of the age I would have been of a child at that time, where does that come from? Like, you people don't actually understand, man. The word of Yahawah ruffles feathers, man. Because you Edomites like to try and claim you're a Christian country, but you don't want to meet the Christian standard, which is the biblical standard of Yahweh's laws. You don't want to meet that standard. So you'll claim you're a Christian country, but we'll see two men snogging each other's faces off, right? Holding hands down the street, and you'll go, it's love, innit? I thought you was a Christian country. You got to pick a side, man. Claiming to be Christian comes with keeping God's laws to the best of your ability. But every time you got the chance to do it, you don't do it. Because you know then that the real Israelites would also keep it. And in them keeping it, they automatically become the best nation on the earth. Automatically. It doesn't even matter if everyone else is keeping it. Because that's the covenant that we have with God. If we keep the laws, regardless of what anybody else is doing, we become number one. If we don't keep the laws, regardless of what anybody else is doing, we become number last place. Yeah? We become number last. Verse 12, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Now, you Edomites have did that all the way back in the Babylon captivity, but you Edomites also then later on in the future made us go in a captivity that you was in charge of. And then when that generation that actually did the works died, the previous generation, when they ever heard about these things, or the next generation, whenever they heard about these things, didn't say, you know what, I don't even want to look at that history. I don't even want to talk. No, you still mocked it, didn't you? And then when that generation died, the next one that came after didn't say, you know what, we're not going to be proud about that we did that. You're still proud about it. To the point where this generation that's alive right now, they're still proud about it and arrogant and still are happy that they did that. To the point where in a video game, Mortal Kombat, they make a character called Jax. there's a sands of time or whatever in the video game after you complete the arcade mode, and his particular storyline, he goes back in time and stops the Atlantic slave trade from happening. And you Edomites lost your mind when he did that. You lost your mind. You actually got angry that he did that and said, did he ask anybody? Or he went back in time and stopped slavery from happening. Did he ask his people if they wanted it to not happen? What are you on about? Who wouldn't want to not go through that? And you would think if you Edomites were such good people that you would want to have not had that as your history. You'd think that, right? If you're such a good and kind-hearted people, and if you're so guilty about it, you'd think that you'd want it to be erased from your history, not in terms of erasing that you ever did it, in terms of it being erased to where you actually didn't do it. If you was really such good people, you'd actually you'd be like, you know what, that's good. I'm glad he did that. But you know that you're such evil people that the only way that you would stop trying to do something like that is if somebody put it on you. And that's why when Yahawah comes back, that's exactly what he's gonna do. He's not coming to just, oh, here we go. Here I'm gonna put you under where you're loving. No, he's gonna F you all up, man. He's gonna dust you all off. I wouldn't be surprised if Yahawah literally tears one of you Edomites in half like he's ripping a pack open, man. Wouldn't be surprised if he rips an Edomite's head straight off his head. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Yahawah do that in our lifetime or in the thousands of years that the kingdom of heaven is established. Now, you Edomites would be like, what? You saying the Messiah is going to do that? Mate, do you know what you guys did to him when he was on this earth? The way how you think the Lord of the Bible is not how he is. You've got a completely different message of who the Messiah in the Bible is. He's a completely different person to what you think. And that's what I mean. The doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites and the true word of Yahawah ruffles feathers, because it makes you people now have to start really reviewing what the Bible you claim to believe in is, man. You don't know this book like you think you know. You don't know it, man. Verse 13, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. You people should have watched your mouth, man. You people right now have got treasures and own land and property and have become famous, have got companies, have got generational wealth that's based on stealing from us. You should have not accepted it. You know, all you Edomites that your dad said, oh, come on, son, you've turned 18, I'm going to buy you a new motor. You know that motor? That's got blood on it. You should have not accepted that, because now you're guilty as well. All the time, everything that your parents gave you as a child, that's blood money. You're guilty too now because of using it. Even when you was a baby and they put a dummy in your mouth, if the dummy that they put in your mouth was based on some money that they had, based on what they did to us, you're guilty. The job that they've got, you're guilty, because the job that you got, you wouldn't have that if you didn't do it to us. You're guilty for it anyway. And then you're guilty just because you descend from Esau. You're guilty because of that. When Esau gets what Esau did all them years ago, selling that birthright, losing that blessing, you're guilty because of that as well. You're not connected to the covenant of the children of Israel because you're connected to the covenant of the destruction of Edom. Right? And I'll say that again. You're not connected, right? Because of your forefather Esau losing the blessing and the birthright, right? You're not connected to the covenant of the children of Israel because you're connected to the covenant of destruction that the nation of Edom is going to receive. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. This is the covenant you're in, right? This is a covenant this is a contract that Yahawah has made with you, right? He's guaranteed this. There's no way that this is not going to happen, because Yahawah said it's going to happen. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahawah have spoken it. You Edomites are going to have to realize, man, you should have watched your mouth. You should have watched your mouth, man. You messed with the wrong nation, man. I know you thought it was fun when you might have seen us downgraded. You might have seen us low. I thought, oh, here we go. I'm going to play around one of these people. I'm going to try and hire and fire them. On the work job, I'm going to be passive aggressive. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and always undermine anything that they say on this job. I'm going to try and do them to do things at this job that's like not even in their contract. I'm going to try and not move out of the way when I'm walking on the street. I'm going to be walking on the street in a completely different lane, and now I'm going to walk in their path just to get on their nerves. You're going to regret doing all of that, man. You're going to realize you should have just left us alone, man. Leave us alone, man. You're so much smarter. You claim you got all this high IQ and that we've got such a low one. Well, look at the society that you've got, though. You're so high IQ'd that the people are making robots that are going to take away all of your jobs. And you're still talking about their IQ level that they got. They're getting rid of you. They're using the people that actually would have a more right to claim that they've got a high IQ than you, everyday average Edomites. They're using the so-called IQ that they've got to make you nothing, to make you obsolete, man. They're trying to make you obsolete, to make you be worth nothing. You Edomites steady complaining and crying about jobs coming back to the States and all this, or jobs coming back to this country or that country. You ain't gonna have the skills to do those jobs, dummies. You ain't gonna have the skills, man. They're gonna get rid of you. They're gonna get rid of you. That day when we finally start to see you people get humbled, man, is really gonna be a beautiful day, because you Edomites' pride still up. It's still high. And I'm gonna end this video now anyway. But I just wanted to put this out there, man, that you Edomites are really not who you think you are. If you're still as a so-called white person running around thinking that you're white and trying to claim to be a patriot based off anything trying to be English or American, you still don't understand what game is being played on this earth. If you really want to try and be a patriot and claim to be patriotic for your people, you better do it under the standard of being an Edomite. Your standard is not that you're white, it's that you're an Edomite, and you better play it that way. Because you're not what you think you are, man. The white thing's not real for you lot. You're Edomites, man. And on that, I'm going to say all praises to Yahawah, Ba'asham Yahawashi, Ba'asham Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.